A report by the Natural Resources Defense Council says that as much as 40% of all the food produced in the United States never gets eaten.
Americans throw away $165 billion worth of food every year. That's about 20 pounds per person every month.
Americans throw away enough food every year to fill 730 football stadiums.
Americans are throwing out a third or more of our food, and the amount we throw out has increased by around 50% since the 1970s. At this rate, in 40 years, when you order pizza from Domino's, they'll just deliver it straight to the nearest dumpster. As they should, but that's not the point here. Those landfills go on to cause problems of their own.
If you were to throw an apple core just out into the woods, it's not a big deal. The problem comes when all of that waste is aggregated and it decomposes without air in a landfill. That anaerobic condition is what creates methane, which is a greenhouse gas that's more than 20 times as potent as CO2 at trapping heat.
That waste occurs at every point along the food chain. Some is lost in transport and during food processing. Supermarkets and we, the consumers, end up tossing out a lot too. But what about what's lost on the farm? An NRDC report found that anywhere from 1 to 30% of farmers' crops don't make it to market. Check out these peaches.
If you look at this piece of fruit all the way around, there's no blemishes to it. It's got red color with a yellow blush background. That's going to go to our premium box, the high-end retail. And this one here has got green on it, so this would definitely go into number 2. We wouldn't put this in a premium box.
Wait, back that up. Premium grade, seconds? Wouldn't you buy those seconds? And the ones that don't even rate as a 1 or 2? Dumped into this truck.
In 2013, nearly 50 million Americans lived in food-insecure households, meaning that at some point in the year, they struggled to put enough food on the table. And the fact that we throw away a third of our food gets pretty alarming when you hear from some of those people.
It's hard. I'll go without food before my kids will. Budget is down to the penny, and it's just not enough still.
It brings you to tears.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just hard. They're so young, and it's hard.
It is crazy that that is happening in a country with 730 football stadiums full of uneaten food. It's insane.
50 million Americans don't know where the next meal is coming from. We, meanwhile, are wasting all this food. If we cut our food waste even by a third, there would be enough food for all those people who don't know where the next meal is coming from to be fully fed.
A lot of campaigns will only examine one part. Are we looking at food waste from the point of in our own homes or in our dining halls? Are we looking at food waste in the fields, which is what you're thinking about, Era, with the aesthetics of the food? And we've seen the ugly fruit and ugly vegetable campaigns that have taken off a little bit, not too big, but there's at least some publicity. And I think it's Tesco. Tesco Supermarket has started some ugly food chains. Where they have a couple markets that are specific to that. But I think that that's a really important component too of how do we change the way that we view food, particularly for fresh fruits and vegetables, things that play a large role in how we define and look at food insecurity. How do we change the way that people view these and incorporate them into their diets? Here on UT's campus, we could focus on food waste coming out of our dining halls, food waste that is non-perishable items that come out of dorms when students move. I feel like a good number of that, if it's a non-perishable item, could and should be donated to local food aid organizations, soup banks, food banks, and so on.
So Oxfam America Club at UT is an affiliate of Oxfam International, and Oxfam is basically a campaign against hunger and poverty in the world. Oxfam believes that in order to reduce hunger and poverty in the world, you have to rid the world of inequalities. And so we fight on many levels to reduce poverty, to reduce hunger, and of course to reduce the underlying cause, social inequalities. We do that several ways. We campaign by petitioning, we volunteer, we have advocacy events, we have movie screenings. We basically do whatever we can to create an awareness of the issues that are happening around the world with with hunger and poverty. But we also take a more active role in volunteering and petitioning for those things as well. For instance, this semester we've emphasized sustainability, and basically the entire semester we've wanted to create an awareness about the importance of sustainability, about reducing food waste, about sourcing your foods from local farmers, because doing all these things creates a better access to foods, and of course reduces food waste, and also lowers the contribution to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Next semester, UT will implement its first ever food pantry. It'll be called Smokey's Pantry. And I think that would be a great medium through which people could take the food that they're not going to eat, donate it to the food pantry, and that food in the pantry will then be redistributed throughout the community, throughout campus. And I think that'd be a great way to reduce waste and to make sure that the food we don't eat goes into the hands of those who need it. We are involved in the Real Food Challenge, which is a challenge to bring 20% real food on campus by 2020. Right now we are in another 10-year contract with Aramark, and we believe that Aramark claims to be giving us healthy foods, but that's not the case. And so the Real Food Challenge is a campaign basically to bring more real food here on campus. And I think if we bring more real food and food that kids get that have more nutritional value and kids like more, then at the end of the day, less food is going to be wasted as well.
Think before you shop. More than a third of us go shopping without a list. Check what you have at home before you shop. Make a list, it saves time and money. Shop with meals in mind. You'll end up throwing less away. Use or lose your food. 60% of us end up throwing away food because it's past its use-by date. Plan your meals with the use-by date in mind. It will save you money. Know your fridge. Keep an eye on what's inside. Be mindful of the perishable food you have and plan meals to fit in with their use-by dates. This will prevent unnecessary waste. Befriend your fridge. 70% of our fridges are set at too high a temperature. Store food according to the instructions on the pack. Leaving food out of the fridge can cut the life of foods like milk, cooked meats, and salad by up to 100%. Keep your fridge between 1 to 5 degrees Celsius. This helps you get the best from your food. Love your leftovers. More than half of households say that they throw away food because they've cooked too much. Using leftovers to make delicious meals is a smart way to ensure you eat everything you buy. So what can you do after you've already generated food waste? You can donate uneaten food to food banks. You can also process your food scraps on campus. While having food scraps trucked off campus to a landfill, incinerator, or composting facility may seem like an easier option, investing in your own aerobic in-vessel rotary drum composting system will save you money in the long run. Plus, the processed compost may either be used on campus, thus reducing your landscaping costs, or packaged and sold, thus turning it into a continual revenue source.